we are feeling very honored, privileged. We are feeling very happy to be amongst all of you, such a large assembly of devotees. It is our great pleasure to share something with you all. As a service, I'll just set up the stage and Radha Gopinath Prabhu will actually be doing the main talk, but I'll introduce the topic to you. We'll chant the invocation praise together. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swadaantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udata Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sadrijatam Sadharatam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Nalita Shri Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Namaste Gopesha Murtika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Takkakanchana Gauragi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindhu Devata Paritanam Pavamebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So our deepest gratitude to the devotees who have organized today evening program and the preacher in the western suburb. There are several Bhakti Vriksha groups today clubbed together. So our gratitude to all the devotees who have been preaching in the western suburb and giving us this opportunity. We will recite one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which describes two important elements of Bhakti Yoga which we need to balance in life. Two important principles of Bhakti Yoga. Before we recite, I will just introduce. We all have so many things to do in devotional service. At times, we are confused. Oh, we have to chant around, we have service to do, we have our other responsibilities, family responsibilities. We should read Prabhupada books, we should distribute Prabhupada books, and there are festivals, Bhakti Vriksha programs, Bhakti Yatras, so many things. There are so many things. And sometimes we may be confused. And at times we may lack time and we are not able to prioritize what all should we do. So therefore, the devotees from one of the suburbs or one of the satellite centers of Navadvip, known as Kulina Gram, they approached Lord Chaitanya and exactly asked, there are so many things to do, can you tell us what is the prime thing we should focus on? Can you tell us the prime thing we should be focusing on? So Lord Chaitanya said, okay, if you are not able to do many things, just do these two things. Just do these two things and you will attain the perfection of life. So Lord Chaitanya prioritizes for him. Help him to balance. To recite the verse. recited by Lord Chaitanya himself. This is Madhya Leela, chapter 16, verse number 70. Do we have it on the display somewhere? We were supposed to display the verse. Okay.
It was on the laptop.
Okay, we have to just start it. Okay, fine. Okay. This is Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan, right? Let me confirm. I am not able to see. Otherwise, I will be reciting one word, you will see what's happening. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya is answering the question. So many things to do, can you tell us few things to focus on? Or is okay? Just two things to focus on. Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan.
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 Lui kar shigra pade Shri Krishna charana.
Lui kare shigra bhave Shri Krishna charana.
So the meaning is pretty clear. Even just by hearing the verse, especially, just by hearing the verse, we can understand most of the verses. We don't even need the translation. Prabhu Kahe, Lord Chaitanya is saying, Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan, serve the devotees and perform Nam Sankirtan, chant the holy name of the Lord. Do these two things. What will be the result? Shigra Pave. Very soon you will obtain the goal of life, the Lord's lotus feet, the ultimate shelter. So, since there are just two things, it's good to memorize and remember. So, we will try to by heart the verse in next few recitations. And then I would like you to recite from your heart, not from your eyes. I'll ask you to close your eyes, we'll put the display off. And by heart it and then recite from the heart. Okay, let's do a few recitations. Very simple to memorize, very easy. I'm sure that many children sitting here will be able to memorize very soon. Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan.
Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan.
Lui kar shigra pave Shri Krishna charana.
Lui kare shigra bhave Shri Krishna charana.
Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan.
Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan.
Lui kar shigra pave Shri Krishna charana.
Lui kare shigra bhave Shri Krishna charana.
Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan.
Prabhu Kahe
Nam Sankirtan.
Karo Shigru Pave Shri Krishna Charan.
Lui kare shigra bhave Shri Krishna charana.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Yes, Prabhu, please recite.
प्रभु काहे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन
Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan.
दुई कर शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण
Lui kare shigra bhave Shri Krishna charana.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Yes, okay, we have someone right behind, please. Okay, good.
Prabhu Kahe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan. Lui kare shigra bhave Shri Krishna charana.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Hare Krishna. Let's give applause to little girl. What's her name? Wow, Gauranga Radha, thank you for designing so sweetly. Hare Krishna. Okay, can you put the display off? And if you have your mobile with you, please put it in the silent mode and keep it inside or keep the mobile phone also down. Fine, so now please practice dependence on Krishna and recite the words. Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please. Little loudly, we'll recite behind you.
प्रभु कहे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तना वे करो शीघ्र भावे श्री कृष्णा चरणा
शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्णा चरणा.
We should be very generous in showing our appreciation. Round of applause. Okay, so now we'll have few more devotees recite from the heart, and whoever is able to recite, we all are going to be generous in showing our appreciation.
We all can move forward. Could we all please move forward?
Hare Krishna. Yes, we have Radha. Yes, Radha is here. Radha wants to recite. First, we give opportunity to kids. Whoever has memorized it.
Can you give the mats that side to the kids so that the kids can all sit there? Yeah. Kids, can you got on the side, all the side? Can you get on the side, all the kids that side? All the kids didn't go that side. Kids, all the kids that side. Go there.
Okay, the kids, there is a special place. The front seats are available for the kids without any charge. The front rows.
Prabhu.
Okay, please come forward.
माता जी आगे लगे.
Kids. Okay, Hare Krishna. Yes, please. We used to have a devotee in Mumbai. Whenever there used to be a class, if that devotee would like the class, some point, he would move little bit forward and he would be leaning in the class. And if he would like some point, he would move little bit forward. And we would say, we will see how nice the class has been given by measuring how many centimeters this devotee has moved. Now that I have just figured the class, we all have moved so much forward, I am feeling very encouraged. Okay, Hare Krishna. We are reciting the words which was on display, but now which we have to have a display on our hearts, on the screen of our hearts, and recite it. Yes, when he is going to recite the words.
प्रभु करे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन. दूरी करे शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Good. Yes, we'll have some more recitations first from the children. If any of the kids would like to recite, not yet. Okay, good. Please, loudly, yeah.
प्रभु करे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन. दूरी करे शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण.
Hello, wonderful. Yeah, the other two are congratulating. fine, we have no devotees, there is a child in everyone, so the elder kids. Yes, Prabhu.
प्रभु का है नाम संकीर्तन वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन
Prabhu ka Vaishnav seva naam sankirtan. Dumi kare Shri Krishna Shri Krishna Charana. Hare Krishna. Yes.
प्रभु का है वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन
Prabhu ka Vaishnav seva naam sankirtan.
कोई करे शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण
Dumi kare Shri Krishna Shri Krishna Charana. Hare Krishna. Namaste. They find behind. Yes, we recite.
प्रभु करे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन
Dumi karo Shri Krishna Shri Krishna Charana. Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you. Amazing. We can have one more recitation, the last one. Okay, you prefer the children here, right in the front. Yes.
प्रभु करे वैष्णव सेवा
Now
श्री नाम संकीर्तन
Prabhu ka Vaishnav seva naam sankirtan.
शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण
Dumi karo Shri Krishna Shri Krishna Charana. Hare What's her name? Shivansh. But Shivansh missed few words because of the good attempt. Right? So Krishna sees our attempt also. So if the attempt is sincere, the Lord gives the full result. So our heartfelt appreciation to Shivansh also. Hare Krishna. So our very beautiful words, Lord Chaitanya telling us that just do these two things, Vaishnava Seva and Nam Sankirtan. And we will attain the Lord Lotus feet, our ultimate shelter. There is a beautiful statement by Srila Bhakti Thakur. He would say that Krishna is to be served at all times. We must serve Krishna. Our life is meant to serve Krishna. And even more indispensable is service to his devotees. So the Lord is extremely pleased when we render service to his devotees. Lord Chaitanya he was in Jagannath Puri for 18 years, and whenever we go to any temple, any place, we all want to take darshan from as close as possible. It is not. We want to go right in the front, as much as front as possible, and take darshan. But Lord Chaitanya would go far behind, and he would take darshan from behind the Guruvastam. So Guruvastam was right at the back, if you go to Jagannath Puri temple. With the devotee taking darshan, the last devotee taking darshan is Gurudev. Gurudev is the devotee of the Lord, he does service. Lord Chaitanya would stand behind Garuda, then be right behind, way back, and he would take darshan from there. Why from so behind? You can't even clearly take the darshan. Why would you stand way behind? Lord Chaitanya had a very beautiful mood. He would say, I will stand behind the servant of the Lord, a Vaishnava. Guru Dev is Param Vaishnava, he does service to the Lord. I will stand behind a devotee, I will stand behind a Vaishnava, and Lord Jagannath will glance upon me. He will glance upon me, and I will be blessed. So, a very sweet mode of taking darshan is I actually am going to see the Lord, but if the Lord looks at me, I will be blessed. Therefore, again and again, the devotees pray, my Lord, Jagannath Swami Nayan Kartagami Bhavatu me, means, may I come in your vision. May you mercifully glance upon me. So one thing is we look upon the Lord, but actually we receive blessing when the Lord looks upon us. So the mood is, when we go for darshan before the Lord, the mood is, may the Lord glance upon me. Because in His glance, there is mercy. There is what we call kripa. There is a beautiful stotra, the beautiful glorification, Shri Radha Kripa Kataksh Stavaraj. All the children in Darshana, they recite it by heart. They come before Shriji Mandir in the evening and they recite it, Shri Radha Kripa Kataksh Stavaraj, composed by Lord Shiva. And the whole composition is, may Srimati Radharani glance mercifully on us. So when we go before the Lord, we should go to receive His glance. We should go to receive His glance. And then we are unlimitedly blessed. But how we will receive His glance? Now, before the Lord, thousands of devotees are going. We want to go in the front to look at the Lord. But whom, the question is whom? Upon whom is the Lord looking at? We get, oh, I had a nice darshan. But the question is the Lord look at you? They are not sure. Right? We say, okay, I went for the darshan. But if I ask the question, does the Lord look at you? That's doubtful. Who will the Lord look at? There are thousands of devotees coming, and especially quickly, sometimes there is a very quick darshan, there is so much crowd, you will just go before the Lord for a while, and then you will come out. Upon whom will the Lord look? At the very back. Okay, good. You're not the very standing, right? Okay, where is standing? So, Shiva, again, Lord Chaitanya would tell us, He has told, Lord would look at a person who likes to serve his devotees. He would be pleased to see that person, he would look at a person who likes to serve his devotees. And that person, wherever that person is standing, the Lord will be able to spot that person and glance mercifully. Therefore, again, there is a famous statement of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. He would say, do not try to see Krishna. Do not try to see Krishna. Try to serve Him, or try to serve His devotees, even better. Try to serve His devotees, so that the Lord will be pleased. He will be happy, oh, this person has served my devotees. Lord will be pleased, and He will glance. He will glance. Okay, I will tell you a beautiful story to elucidate, to further explain this concept. We know Mother Yamuna, Damodar Prabhu, Krishna Prabhupada disciple. Daily in the Darshan Arati, we have Govinda Lal Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Sankara. The very first temple of ISKCON, Shri Radha Nandanishwar temple, it was a dream project of our Acharya. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur wanted a Krishna conscious mata, a boiling mata, Krishna conscious place in London. he had sent his sannyasis, he could not do it. Now the grihasthas could accomplish. What the sannyasis could not accomplish, the three grihastha couples could accomplish. And she envisioned we will have a nice Radha Krishna deities in the very first Krishna temple in London. Can you imagine the dream of our acharyas? Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur foresaw, he yearned that this Krishna consciousness movement will spread. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur attempted for it, and he empowered Prabhupada, and Prabhupada empowered these three Grihastha disciples. She said we should have nice Radha Krishna deity in the very first center London is called. Then she put up some donation boxes. There was an Indian house at different floors. Donate for Radha Krishna deities. And the Indian devotees, most of the Indians, they have culture, spiritual culture, emotional culture. They started donating for Radha Krishna deities. There was a fund built up, and there were a few months to the opening, and the deities were to be ordered. Vimana Mataji was looking, we will order the deities from Jaipur, have nice Radha Krishna deities for our first London ISKCON center. But Damodar Prabhu, he was in charge of the temple construction. And he needed the funds for some emergency. He wrote that we cannot complete the temple if we do not have the funds. So asked Jamuna, you have the funds for the deities, give those funds to me. He said, no. How can I give this for the deities? Give it to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I need the funds to complete the temple. Otherwise, temple won't be complete. Prabhupada went back to Jamuna, give the money to Shamsundar. So, and Prabhupada said, Krishna will come for you. Krishna will come. So, with a heavy heart, she assisted Shamsundar Prabhu in his service. She gave the money. The temple became ready. The date was set for the deities to be installed. And she really wanted the Radha Krishna deities. Now few days remaining. Prabhupada came and Prabhupada brought small Radha Krishna deities. But she had faith. She was looking forward. Prabhupada said Krishna will come. So Prabhupada came. The temple is getting ready. And just 2 days before the installation, one Mr. Goyal invited Prabhupada. And Mr. Goyal said, Prabhupada, I heard home for Prasadam, where he mentioned that we have got one Radha Krishna deities from India shipped. But then the finger of Radharani broke in transportation. And I think according to Vedic laws for installing the deities, Pran Pratishtha, we cannot install, the deities because one finger of Radharani has broken. So we are thinking that we can donate this deity to this cause. Prabhupada said, can you show me the deities? And then Mr. Goyal took, the deities were wrapped in a white cloth. Prabhupada uncovered the cloth, saw the deities, and Prabhupada asked, Shamsundar, see if you can pick up Radharani. Shamsundar said, yes Prabhupada. Gopinath, see if you can pick up Krishna. Yes Prabhupada, I can pick up Krishna. Prabhupada said, we will go. And Mr. Goyal was shocked. He wanted to have a ceremony, formal ceremony, of donating, and so on and so forth, and he was planning. He said, Swamiji, we are just thinking, we are planning. Swamiji said, thank you very much. We have accepted your offer. And Prabhupada actually hijacked them. And he's walking, and Mr. Goyal, what will do now? Here is a sannyasi walking with the deities. And he was stunned. He could not think of anything. And Prabhupada just kept the deities in the car, in the lap, the Shamsundar and Mukundar are holding. And Prabhupada started. He just started the car. Let's go to the temple. After going 5-10 minutes, midway Prabhupada stopped. And he looked at the deities behind. And he started singing, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Prabhupada started like singing for them, and he said, there is no problem, this is Krishna's trick, this is Radharani's trick. They wanted to come to us, they have played a trick, and the finger has broken. We will fix the finger, there will be no problem that Radha and Krishna will be fully present in the deities. And Prabhupada got the deities, and then he told Yamuna Devi, Yamuna Mataji, said, Yamuna, Krishna has come for you. Krishna has come to you because you assisted another devotee in his service. Then Krishna has come to you. So therefore the point we are discussing is, we want to go to Krishna, we want to have darshan of Krishna, but Krishna will look at that devotee, Krishna will come to that person who serve his devotees, who assist his devotees. Of all the devotees of Krishna, who is the best devotee? Okay, fine, there will be multiple answers. Who is considered as the best devotee, or I would say, let me be a little bit specific. In Wyndham, one devotee of the Lord is glorified as the best of the Haridasas. Yes, who is that? Govardhan. Govardhan is described as the best devotee, Haridas, Haridas Varya. Why he is described as, why he is called as Haridas Varya? The reason he is called as Haridas Varya, the best devotee, is because he facilitates the service of all the other devotees to Krishna. Giriraj Govardhan, he provides fresh grasses for the cows. There are beautiful water springs, natural mineral water, very cool, refreshing for the cowherd boys, for the cows. There are many beautiful fruit trees. The Gopas, Gopis, they pluck fruits and eat. There are so many beautiful caves for the Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys, and they hide in the caves, they play around in the caves. In fact, it is described when Krishna sits on the stones of Govardhan, they become soft like a sofa. They don't feel hard like a stone. Krishna's Govardhan melts and becomes very soft. And its shilas become very fragrant. So he is considered the best devotee because Giriraj Govardhan, he serves other devotees of Krishna. And therefore he is the topmost devotee. Therefore, in bhakti, we say a servant of the Lord is very important person, VIP. Who is a VIP? Lord Chaitanya says, he is the definition of VIP. VIP means one who is a devotee, Krishna sees that person as VIP, his devotee. But who is the servant of his devotee, that person is VVIP. And who is the servant of his devotee, that person is VVVIP. This is a different terminology, different way of looking at it. That's how the Lord sees. The more a person serves and assists other devotees, Krishna considers that person to be more important, to be even greater. So that is Vaishnava Seva. That is Vaishnava Seva. Serving other devotees, it pleases Krishna so much. To the extent that the Lord himself likes to serve his own devotees. As Lord Chaitanya, he would take the clothes of his devotees. At the time he had not revealed himself as the Supreme Lord. He was known as Nimaya Pandit, the great teacher and the scholar. He would take the clothes of his own devotees and wash them with Ganga. And his devotees would give him blessings. and Lord Chaitanya would receive the blessing of his devotees on his head. It is mentioned, Bhakta Ashirvad Prabhu Shire Kori Loe, Bhakta Ashirvade Krishna Ke Bhakti Hoye. Bhakta Ashirvad Prabhu Shire Kori Loe. He would accept the blessings of his devotees on his head. Why? Because Bhakta Ashirvade Krishna Ke Bhakti Hoye. By devotees' blessing, one develops devotional service to Krishna. So therefore, to the extent, Vyndham Thakur says, it is doubtful that if there is someone who is serving Krishna, it is doubtful that a person may achieve perfection or may not achieve perfection in life. But if someone is serving a Vaishnava, that person will surely achieve the perfection of life. Vyndham Thakur says that. Etike Vaishnava Seva Param Upay Avashyami Lai Krishna Vaishnava Kripai. There is no doubt. Avashyami Lai Krishna Vaishnava Kripai. If one has the mercy of devotees upon him or her, that person will surely attain Krishna. Therefore, Etike Vaishnava Seva Param Upay. The most beneficial or param upaya means the way to attain Krishna. The easiest way to attain Lord Krishna's mercy, the surest way to attain Lord Krishna's mercy is to serve his devotees. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya, when he said, do these two things, he placed Vaishnava Seva first. Let's recite the verse. Prabhu ka Hare Vaishnava Seva Nama Sankirtana. Dui karo Shigra Bhave Shri Krishna Charana. So Vaishnava Seva attacks Krishna. Second aspect is Nama Sankirtan. And again, Prabhupada again writes in many places in Chaitanya and Srimad Bhagavatam that the devotional service can be executed properly only in the association of devotees. And he would quote one of the bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur by saying, Ekaki amar nahi payabal Hari Nama Sankirtane. Narottam Das Thakur has written, alone I have no strength to perform Nam Sankirtan. But when we are in the association of devotees, then we get the strength to perform Nam Sankirtan. It is very easy, it becomes very easy when we come together with the devotees and chant the holy name of the Lord. Whether it is Sankirtan, Sankirtan becomes very joyful, very sweet, and even Japa becomes very easy when we are with the devotees. When we come together with the devotees, we can actually focus on our chanting and it becomes easier, which otherwise may be very difficult. So therefore, association is very important. Prabhupada beautifully says, I'll read a quote of Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, this chanting should go on. Whatever, irrespective of any circumstances, whatever may happen, the chanting should go on. So Prabhupada says, this chanting should go on. Instead of meetings, resolutions, dissolutions, revolutions, and no solutions, there should be constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Especially, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur encouraged us to chant loudly. Loud chanting has special power, has special potency. He would say, all the obstacles on our path. Sometimes like you may feel down, you may feel discouraged, you may feel very tired, you may feel bored and not feel like chanting. And there will be many obstacles to our chanting. He would say, if we chant loudly, then all these obstacles will go away, just like when a lion roars, all the smaller animals will just run away. So all the obstacles will just be vanished by loud chanting of the holy names. Let's chant loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya tells Advaitacharya, I have appeared because you loudly chanted the holy names. He says, I was sleeping in the ocean of milk. Right? Lord, as I showed the child Vishnu, he sleeps. Your loud chanting broke my sleep. Therefore, I have appeared in response to your loud chanting. So therefore, loud chanting has a special potency to attract Krishna's attention. At times, I see, I had read this, and when we go to Mayapur, I would see, this is, I'm talking of 15-20 years back, I would see His Holiness Jagadava Swami Maharaj, he was sitting right in the circle with the devotees, and in between, he would encourage the devotees to raise hands and loudly chant the name of Varanga or loudly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Advaitacharya is one who attracted the Lord by his loud chanting. Is described Yahara tulasi jale, Yahara hunkare, Sodana sahite chaitanya avatare. By his offering tulsi to the Lord, Yahara tulasi jale, he would take few leaves of tulsi, or say just one leaf of tulsi, dip it in Ganga water, slide, and put it at the lotus feet of the Lord. A very simple act. Anyone can do at home. But the simple act of offering tulsi and Ganga jal at the Lord's lotus feet and chanting his names is so potent that the Lord could not resist but answer his prayers. He had to answer his prayers. Therefore, Yahara tulasi jale, Yahara hunkare. Hunkare is loud calling. So loud is not exactly, of course, we can call loudly from the throat, but maybe loudly from the heart. Maybe loudly from the heart. I have personally seen, at times when I, feel very tired, lazy, not feel like sometimes getting in the morning, just within my heart, because in ashram many devotees are sleeping. I can't. Sit in the brahmachari ashram where so many devotees are sleeping. I just from my heart start chanting loudly. And within no time, I feel some divine energy. We will overcome all the obstacles and Krishna shows the way. Several times I have experienced. That whether loudly from the heart, I want to do something but I am not able to do. We all experience sometimes. We want to do something, but due to some reason, lack of determination, you're very tired, lack of conviction, so on, so forth. You're not able to do it. But the loud chanting of the Lord's name, it removes all obstacles and gives us that divine empowerment. So therefore, the best way to attract Krishna's mercy is to serve his devotees and loudly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. प्रभु कहे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन दूरी करे शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण We'll together recite now. प्रभु कहे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन दूरी करे शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण. Little loudly, the last time. प्रभु कहे वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन दूरी करे शीघ्र पावे श्री कृष्ण चरण. So while we attain Krishna's lotus feet through this process, it is our duty to help others also to come along with us, to take as many people with us as much as possible, right? Inspire others, take others along with us at the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is Jivedaya. So what essentially we have talked today is Krishna Seva, Namarati and Jivedaya. And now I would like to request His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu to, I think I will just set the stage and Radha Gopinath Prabhu will actually give you, he will actually make the structure or that will be main talk, the insights into how to balance the three, how to go deeper into the three, all that will be explained by His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
After such a powerful and strong foundation, we are already standing at a profound building. I really wonder whether another building is necessary. However, I would like to share one beautiful thought process that was presented by His Holiness Sachidananda Swami Maharaj. One time he was extremely sick, so much that the question of practically battling for his life, and he was taking rest. He was asked to take rest for about 3 weeks. So he went to one particular kind of a very secluded place in the middle of the forest, accompanied by just one assistant, and he was staying there, being nourished by the devotee as per the recommendation. And he expresses that the only thing that he saw all around him were only trees. So many trees. And at that time, he had a kind of a realization. And he shared that. He said, when you look at a tree, it also talks about perfect balance. A tree has basically 3 parts. One is the root, another one is the stem, and then you have the crown consisting of branches, sub-branches, the twigs, the leaves, the flowers, the fruits. So he said, I'm kind of summarizing, it's actually a 3-hour seminar that I do, but the roots nourishes the tree, collecting from the ground all that is needed for the nourishment of the tree. The stem provides stability to the tree, and the crown of the tree is the contribution of the tree to the world. The branches stand out in the sun and gives shade to the people underneath. It brings out flowers for others, not for itself. It gives very juicy and luscious fruits. It doesn't eat its own fruit, it's meant for others. So, similarly, when a sincere devotee, a determined devotee, really wants to pursue the path for a whole lifetime. There are, when we were young, we had this story about the rabbit and the tortoise having a race. And the rabbit was super confident. Obviously, with another tortoise, no question of who's going to win. And therefore, he ran and then looked back that I'm too far ahead. He relaxed. While the tortoise actually was steady. It took very steady steps and very focused. And didn't stop till the end was reached. And that is determination. Utsaha, Nishaya, Dhirya. Rupa Goswami mentions 6 ingredients necessary for a person to complete the journey. Human life is so rare, and rarer still is if a person has found the goal of life. Those who haven't received the mercy of the Lord and a Guru do not have a goal, they keep changing their goalposts. From time to time, from stage of life. But Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha purana. So, after having found the goal, which is developing love of Krishna, then there is initial enthusiasm. And many a times, because of tremendous initial enthusiasm, it may be that we may kind of burn out a little bit. And then we are in a situation where we look back and kind of lament that probably I should have been a little more sober, a little more balanced, a little more steady, so that I could successfully complete the journey. And in that, this kind of a balance is very necessary. Yes, enthusiasm is necessary. It also requires patience. Because the kind of goal that we have set up is not something simple. It's not something easily accessible. It's Mahaprabhu's mercy that it has been made simple, But otherwise, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Yanavan Mam Prapadyate. It takes millions of lifetimes. So, still, whatever little lifespan we have, it is said, Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhana. This is an instrument. The body, especially a human body, is an extremely favorable instrument because it has all the facilities, the intelligence, the mind, the senses are specifically made for self-realization. Only human form of life. And therefore, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiva. And having found that, if you look in our movement, in Srila Prabhupada's movement, so many people, so many wonderful devotees, so enthusiastically were able to give their life to Srila Prabhupada's movement. And some are gloriously still going on, but what about the so many powerful personalities who did glorious services in those earlier years? Where are they? Why did they become, inactive later? There must be something to learn. And therefore, this particular balance was presented very beautifully. So, one should judge these three aspects. Just like for completing the journey, you may have a beautiful vehicle, but you need the petrol. You need the gas, you need the gasoline. So that's the nourishment to run the machine. And that's the root. The root gives nourishment to the whole tree. And one need to deeply introspect. What is it that nourishes us? Of course, spiritually we know. Spiritually it's the holy name. Spiritually it's the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because as long as the tree is connected to the earth has unlimited resource. The earth has unlimited resource. The deeper the root, the more it can actually gather. The broader the root, the more it can gather resource. Similarly, by taking shelter of the holy name, which is not different from Krishna, who has inconceivable, unlimited resource. There is no dearth of resource. Few days back I was in India. Every morning I get up and offer my prayers to the sun during Gayatri Japa. And when I come to Melbourne, I look at the sun. It's the same sun. That's something that has not changed. In India, you look at on top, you see the same sun. Whether you go anywhere on this planet, you see the same sun. And just think about the sun. Just to light up this room, how much energy is required? Wattage power to light up this room. Imagine lighting up whole of Melbourne. How much energy is required at night to light up a stadium? How much powerful light and how much wattage of power? But even if all the lights are on in the city of Melbourne or whole of Australia, see, it can't compare to the sunlight at noontime. Even when you fly, you may see the whole light, but you can't distinguish properly where you are. But when the sunlight comes, millions of light years away, still it lights up. So much energy. Life comes as soon as the sun comes. As soon as the sun rises, actually life starts. Not only for human beings. We are like crazy guys, sometimes we become active after sunset. That's a perverted lifestyle. But look at the other beings. They become active. The birds. Look at the birds, look at the other animals. So there's so much energy. Krishna Surya Sama Maya hai Apaka. That all about Namna Makari Bahudhan Nija Sarva Shakti, all that power of Krishna, sun is just one tiny insignificant particle of Krishna's energy. And it's burning since time immemorial. What the amount of fuel required to burn the sun? And the sun is not taking, Sunday off. It's my day. I need a relaxation. And the sun is burning since time immemorial. It's fire. And fire requires fuel. How is it the sun doesn't diminish? It's the same thing that's given since time immemorial. This is one tiny example of the inconceivable, inexhaustible power of the sun. That's Krishna's power. And all that power is there in the holy name. Nija Sarva Shakti. So that's a powerful charging of, when your mobile is discharged, you connect to a higher source of power. Then it is charged up. And the high discharge, good connectivity. Otherwise in India, they will be standing little, hello. No response from the other side. There is no connectivity. But if the charging is good connectivity. So, the holy name is one source of inexhaustible resource of power, energy. But you need to, sometimes you put it, but if they lose connection, the switch is on, but it doesn't get charged because there is a loose connection. Actually, energy is never flowed. That's our inattentive chanting, or very offensive kind of chanting. So, emphasizing on that kind of connectivity, charging up ourselves at the beginning of the day. The other is, as we were discussing yesterday, the avatar of Krishna in the form of a book. Puranam Brahma Samhita. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna in the form of his book, his message. Just connecting with a humble heart that I desperately need that connection, that energy, that empowerment, that mercy is such a recharging phenomenon. For others, it may be, some people are energized and rejuvenated, replenished by just picking up a book. Some are very good readers, they love to read some books. Just simply, just read some books and they feel nourished. Some people need a nature walk to replenish themselves. Just leave me alone and I want that. So, different people have different ways of kind of feeling rejuvenated or energized. So one has to find that and do that. So that's like the roots. And the second one is the stem, which provides stability. Imagine thick and deep roots and a heavy foliage on the top of the trunk and a very thin stem. It's bound to just collapse. The tree will fall down. The wind from the wind and the whole thing will collapse. So the thickness of the trunk represents how stable the tree is going to be. And that stability is also a very important for a devotee's life. Many a time, many devotees, unfortunately, neglect their health that we are not this body. And probably we are pampering it a little too much. We are engaging in sense gratification. Senses are meant to be satisfied. Senses are not meant to be gratified. But they must be satisfied. That's why Krishna says, Tar madhye jiva api logomoy sudurmati Tati Jita Kodina Samsare, one of our favorite players. Krishna bada doyama, kodi baar jiva jao. So when we access, senses doesn't mean only the tongue. The eyes need some nourishment and some satisfaction. Ears need satisfaction. The nose needs satisfaction. The sense of touch needs satisfaction. Bhojana doesn't mean only food for the tongue. Bhojan means all the senses need satisfaction. And those things, if they are accepted as much as necessary, whatever is favorable to achieve the goal, and even if it is as much as necessary, and even if it is favorable, it should be accepted as a mercy of the Lord. So when everything is accepted with these three conditions, then the senses are alert, alive, and active. At the same time, it's active for the purpose of achieving the goal. Otherwise it is pampering, otherwise it is, unfavorable. So, at the same time there is also yukta ahara viharasya, yukta karamasya, the golden mean, not too much, not too less. I remember one time, one devotee asked a very senior person, after the Bhagavatam class, he said, Swamiji Maharaj, he said, how much is too much? And how less is too less? Because sometimes you look at someone's plate, they do full justice to Mahaprasad. And then you wonder, by default am I a Raghunath Goswami? Or you look at someone who are like eating like Raghunath, then you wonder, am I enjoying, indulging my senses? So the devotee sincerely asked, how do I know how much is too much, how less is too less? And so the reply that he got was, I will give you an example of two Paramahamsa Mahabhagavats. One is Raghunath Goswami, who was eating a palmful of buttermilk every 3 days. And even while drinking, he was telling, so much time I am spending just of his body, which is temporary. This is one Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat. And the other one was Bhima. When the Pandavas were in the forest, the Pandavas would go for begging alms, and they would bring it back and give it to Kunti, collection for the day. And then Kunti would divide it into half. One half for Bhima, and one half for the other Pandavas and Kunti. 4 plus 1, 5. And Bhima would finish off and then keep looking at their plate. And he said, okay, Baba, ye le, aur thoda le le. Just look at your plate, don't look at it. He would easily eat 10 people he can devour. That's why it is called Bhukodara. Bhuka means like unsatiable hunger. But the same Gita says, Bhima Karma. When time came for action, when the Laksha Graha, the house of lack, was put on fire at the behest of Duryodhana and their party, and the Pandavas had to escape from that tunnel. If they were caught, they would be killed. So they came out in the midst, the whole night. They were ready. They didn't sleep that night. And as soon as they knew it's going to be light, as soon as it was lighted, they escaped. They came out. This was around 3 a.m. suppose in the morning. And they crawled a long distance and came out. After they came out, Bhima said, you do one thing. Climb on. Kunti was sitting on his neck like this. And on the two shoulders he took Yudhishthira and Arjuna. And Nakul and Sahadev he put with his hands. And it is described, he ran for the whole day. Throughout, even before sunrise he started running. And he was running with such fierce force, the trees that came in the way were flying off. And then he reached a very safe distance beyond the kingdom and into a forest. And he placed them very gently down. They saw that practically sunset. It was almost like night. Whole day was running full speed. 5 of them, and he placed them, and they said, we are tired, we are feeling sleepy. Simply by sitting. And he was actually running. He said, you all relax, you go to sleep, I will keep awake and I will guard you. And that is the time Hidimba actually sent his sister Hidimbi, who fell in love with her lunchbox, so to say. And then actually Bhima, she proposed to Bhima, and then Hidimba came, and that was the extra. After the whole day's service, extra seva. He had to kill Hidimba, powerful demon, kill him. So if you can work like Bhima, eat like Bhima. Don't look at others' plate, just do justice to your plate, that's all. That means deeply understanding what's my need. Not my want. Want is no end, but need. There's a difference between understanding the need and want. The need must be fulfilled. It's legitimate. But wants are unlimited. That needs to be understood. Yukta ahara vihara, the golden mean. So that is physical well-being. Because how do you do Vaishnava Seva? If you yourself are sick, you are forced to take Vaishnava Seva. And the most painful thing for a devotee who is sincerely wanting to serve is to be in a position where everyone has to serve him. It's extremely painful for a person. I don't want to be served. I want to serve. But to serve, you need to be fit. And so therefore, stability of sadhana, alert, active, and sustained service. Like I have seen in many temples, there are so many sincere, steady grahastas who have taken certain responsibilities. And once they take up a particular responsibility, you can depend on them. Come what may, you can depend on them. Year after year, decade after decade, they've been steadily doing that. That's amazing. Just by looking at them, you feel so inspired. Wow. Dependable, reliable, because they actually understand whatever is the need to actually execute that service. I will acquire the required knowledge, I will acquire the required skills, I will acquire the required energy, sustainable, so that the seva can go on. I was in London, Bhaktivedanta Manor, Kulangana Mataji, Prabhupada disciple, and there were 2-3 others, Jiva, I forget his name. doing this service in the DT room. She was cooking the sweets for Radha Gopinath. Later, till the last day of her life, she was doing that. Yeah? So, keeping ourselves fit, and not just physical fitness, even emotionally one should be stable. If a person is emotionally unstable, how can they actually help others? How can they serve others? So the well-being, physical well-being, emotional well-being is very important, and that stability comes when things are organized and balanced. And balancing is not a one-time act. Sometimes, in a particular situation, we figure out, this is too much, this is too less. This is the perfect golden mean. So here the young man or a young lady who's a student and just passed out and everything has been figured out, and suddenly he or she gets a job. Everything goes haywire. By the time you have figured out, this is perfect balance, you get married, everything goes haywire. A new situation. By the time they figure out how both of us are perfectly done, there is a child. And everything goes haywire again. By the time you need to figure out. So, newer and newer responsibilities come. And responsibility means burden. It can be a burden of love. It can be a burden of the beast. It's up to you what you want to do. See it as. And burden means weight. W-E-I-G-H. And weight means to be tendency to be thrown off balance. When you take a new responsibility, a new role, as soon as you get a new role, it's a new responsibility. And a responsibility means burden means weight, and weight means tendency to be thrown off balance. So you need to perfectly find a balance. How to balance it? Just like putting one stone on top of the other. You need to find a point which perfectly balances and stays. So physical and emotional well-being is important so that sadhana can go on and seva can go on. But then this could also become little selfish. My seva and my sadhana. Imagine a big tree, deep and broad roots and thick trunk, and only 2 leaves on top. Who will be inspired to water that tree? Wow, itna pani pita hai. And only 2 leaves, no fruits, no flowers. That is why Lord Chaitanya said, Janma sarthaka kari, karo paropakar. So, in addition to Namaruchi is the root, because you get nourishment through unlimited resource of the holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting. But then the trunk represents Vaishnava Seva. It begins with yourself. Be compassionate to your own body. Don't pamper it. Don't neglect it. न अति अश्नतस्तु योगोस्ति न चैकान्तं अनश्नतम् न च अति स्वप्नशीलस्य जागृतोदेव जागरण. Krishna gives such a beautiful rule. If you, as Prabhupada said, if you sleep too much, you become lazy. If you sleep too little, you become crazy. You need to see how much. Each one has to decide for oneself, so that you are alert and alive throughout the day, and not kind of drowsy. So that kind of stability, physical, emotional, probably even financial. Lord Chaitanya was telling Shivananda, saying, hey, take care of this Vasudeva Dutt's, you become his financial manager. Because this fellow, whatever he earns in the day, he spends it by the evening. He is so compassionate. He wants to take care of the whole world, nothing left for himself. He needs to take care of his own self. He chastised Sanatana Goswami. How dare you think of committing suicide just because your body has become sickly and full of oozes and boils which are oozing out pus. Sanatana Goswami, I am not able to serve, I will commit suicide under the Rath, Jagannath chariot. And Lord Chaitanya came to him, he chastised. Tomar Sharira Mora Pradhana Sadhan, E Sharire Sadhimuami Bahu Prayojan. How dare you think of even giving up this body? This body has already been submitted to me. You have already surrendered this body. Manasa Deho Geho Jogi Chumo Arpilu Chuvapade Nandakishwa. You have taken care of this body. Why? Nimitta-matra bhava-savasashi. Arjun, you simply become an instrument. So this is an instrument. As Lord actually Prabhupada prayed, Nachao, Nachao Prabhu, Nachao Semate, Kashtero Putalijaha, make me a puppet, make me dance. Imagine a broken puppet, lift, only hand comes out and the whole puppet is landing. How will that puppet act unless it is free? So Lord Chaitanya chastised. You have no right to neglect this body. And you can't overly pamper. You need to get the balance. So then there is the crown. And that is Jivedaya. So there is Namaruchi. There is sustained, stable Vaishnava Seva through the community of devotees, through taking various responsibilities in service of devotees. And that service may vary. There was one manager in one particular place in US, I don't want to name, anyway, I tell it anyway. Radha Prabhu, he was a manager. And as a manager, he would judge the sincerity of the devotee by their physical presence in the temple and their activity. So there were 3 ladies literally taking full responsibility. They were like pillars of the temple. And other lady, he thought was little spaced out. But one time, all these 3 ladies fell chronically sick. The whole thing collapsed. So Seva collapsed. And at that time, this other lady, who the manager considered a little spaced out, because she was learning newer and newer alternative medicines and all that. She had that inclination. She personally took care of these other 3 ladies, going to their homes and nursed them back to health within a very short time. And that time, Radha Gopinath Prabhu said, I decided not to judge a devotee simply by the amount of service, visible service. Everyone, if they are sincere, somebody may be like Hanuman, throwing big boulders to make the bridge for Lord Ram. And some in their circumstance, in their situation, they may be like the squirrel who is pushing a few grains in the eye of Lord Ram, because they were sincerely trying to do the best in their situation. According to their circumstance, it was the same. So sometimes we have a tendency to judge externally. But the most important, as the Honorable mentioned, is the sincerity of the heart, the desire to actually serve and to share. Janma sarthaka karo para. And para means wanting to share our good fortune with the others. Imagine you are in a village and there are no taps, there is no water system. Every house has a well. And suppose there is a drought and all the wells of all the people in the village has dried up and your well is overflowing with water. What would you do? Put a lid, put a thick tiger lock. In Punjab it's called tiger lock, a very powerful lock, nobody can break. And then you say, what to do? It is their karma. But somebody may say, oh poor thing, my water is overflowing in my well. Others are there, okay, open the well and say, alright, if you want you can come. And people come, take a glass, drink, and then they say, take a bucket, take and go. Then they say, we have to wash our clothes also. And then we say, we have a garden and we have a field, we need water. So we'll do one thing, we will put a thick pipe and put 60 HP motor. What will happen to the well? It will dry up, right? So only giving. But if you are not nourished, you can't sustain that giving. Therefore we need balance. So at night, allow this water to fill up. 8 hours filling up the water, rest of the time distributing that water. So that is that nourishment. We feel re-energized. We are still in sadhana. We develop a taste. And then you want to share. That is Jivadaya. You know? Jare jako tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Hamara agya guru hoya tare desh. So, we need to balance all the three. We have to give. Paropakaraaya phalanti vrikshaha, paropakaraaya vahanti nadyaha, paropakaraaya duhanti gavaha, paropakarat midam shariram. Such an amazing, there is this Niti Shastra says, paropakar means other unfortunate people who are not as fortunate as you. Sometimes people become so self-absorbed in trying to compare and looking up at something who has someone more and feel miserable. Rather than that, look at those who are less fortunate and share. It's such a sense of, from a sense of scarcity to a sense of plenty. When we share. So Nadyaha, the rivers quench everyone's thirst, doesn't bring water on its own. The milk gives, and the cow gives milk to the whole society, doesn't drink its own milk. The tree gives fruit, doesn't drink its own, eat its own fruit. Similarly, we are we will be considered very mean and very selfish if we only think of our own self without sharing with other people who are less fortunate because of not having received this treasure. Not in a spirit of being holier than thou, not with a pride, but with joy. And the amazing part of spirituality, the more you give, the more you receive. This is a very special thing about spirituality. It's very different mathematics. 1 plus 1 is 1, 1 minus 1. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purna, Purnamudach. It's a very special mathematics. The more you give, the more you receive. Such an amazing dynamics. So, 4 aspects to be balanced. The spiritual, in terms of nourishment, the physical and emotional stability, and the social well-being of being a giver than the receiver. A very simple definition of a demon. Who is a demon? Huh? How do you describe describe a demon. Sometimes demon means two horns and two teeth protruding and like a cannibal, man-eating. That's what in the Ramayana they show. Somebody comes out. Actually, one devotee defined demon in such an amazing way. He said, a demon is a person who takes more from the society but gives less. And who is a divine being who takes less and less but gives more and more. Very simple definition. When you take more and more and give less, you become a burden. But when you take less from society but give more, you become an asset. What is the proof? The proof of who is a demon or a divine being is, when you die, how many cry? When you die, can you imagine whenever somebody dies, some great soul dies, people cry, Hare. Or even when that person is living, beta, tu 100 saal jeena. Kyunki tu jeeta hai to log jeete hain. If you live, you are a support for millions of others, so many thousands of others. Because your existence is simply meant to give. People feel very bad that this so and so person is no more in my life. But whenever you read Krishna book, you read Mahabharata, you read Ramayana, whenever a demon is killed, the Gandharvas start singing, the Apsaras start dancing, the Rishis and demigods start showering flowers on whoever killed the demon. Very nice, my lord. Big headache, the rascal went now. He wouldn't eat himself, he wouldn't distribute also. Gadha kahi ka. न खाता था न खिलाता था. That was Dhirukasur. Dhiruka had this tal forest, rotting tal fruits. He was not eating, he was not allowing others to eat. And when Krishna and Balaram killed Dhirukasur and his associates, everyone was, hey, people ran in fun. Because we may not be so demoniac. But let's also share that good fortune with others. So, if we can kind of balance our lives in such a way, it's a dynamic process. It keeps changing every situation, and by the time you figure out something, and there are crises in life. There are some health crises, there are some financial crises, there is some relationship crisis. That's the nature of this world. Padam, this is an indication. Krishna wants me to stop, I think. So, to her, keep down the microphone. Anyway, if this kind of a balance is there, because we should run like the tortoise. Because the success, as I said, life is a preparation and death is the examination. And in that examination, those who come out with flying colors, as described by Krishna, Antakale chamameva smaran mukya kaleva, that the Krishna conscious, they are happy, they are satisfied. That satisfaction doesn't depend upon the superficial, mental or sensual satisfaction. It is Yayatma Suprasidati. It's a deep satisfaction. It is not dependent on anything external. It's dependent on my eternal relationship with my Lord. Unlimited source of nourishment. Complete satisfaction. Like Prabhupada was asked, so Prabhupada kuch ichha hai? At the last days, Prabhupada said, kuch ichha nahi. No desire. When we make Krishna's desire our desire, Srila Prabhupada's desire our desire. So, actually I feel so happy when I was hearing that, especially after the COVID we have seen all over the world, wherever we have traveled, the number of people taking up Krishna consciousness, taking up the path of spirituality, deeply questioning, has increased. And we should also take up this responsibility. Two responsibilities by default. Number one, save yourself. Very important. And then after saving yourself, don't just relax, save others. Very interesting. In every airplane, the instruction what they give? First put the mask on yourself before putting it on your child also. Very interesting to be learned. Janma sarthaka kari, फिर करो परोपकार. Because if you try to do that, you will not be remaining. So first, put the mask yourself in emergency, then put it on the near and dear ones. So, extremely grateful to the organizers here for this wonderful opportunity to serve all of you. And it's so nice to see so many people taking up, and I'm sure Prabhupada's profuse mercy is already flowing upon us in this association. And we continue to kind of share and give much more better. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you were talking about the importance of satisfying our senses but not gratifying others. Does that differ, like, because many times I feel like devotees there's a sense of expectation, and that's irrespective of an age or position that a person may be in. So is it okay, like if for example you have young teenagers or you have youth or you have who may be interested in other things, how okay is it to endeavor to satisfy those senses, but and not necessarily judge, because I feel like a lot of the times, because there's that level of expectation that this is what it is by the books, there's a lot of judgment that goes. So how do you balance that? How do you truly understand that a person will just be satisfying their senses, but they're not necessarily gratifying them?
This is one of the reasons why we need guidance. Because many times our mind can play tricks with us and tendency to justify. And Krishna consciousness is such a wonderful philosophy that you can justify anything under it in the name of Yukta Vairagya. And so therefore we need someone in our lives whom we have trust, faith and confidence. Trust in the fact that they are our well-wishers, faith that they will provide knowledge which is solid, substantial, and confidence that they will guide us in a very balanced way, natural way. And individuals are different. The 5 Pandavas, I gave example. What will satisfy Bhima is not probably what will satisfy, or what will satisfy others may not satisfy, So in this regard, some kind of guidance is necessary. And depending on each one's situation is different, and nature is different. Prabhupada did encourage even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged a few persons to serve as lifetime celebrating monks, while some he encouraged them like the Kurma Brahman. He wanted to renounce everything and follow Lord Chaitanya. He said, no, you be where you are and you serve, and you will not lose my association, or rather you will find me again. So he kind of guided according to each one's situation, their inclination, their nature, you know. So, and their age, whatever, propensities, the unity in diversity. The message is the same, but its application may vary from time, place, and circumstance to different individuals. So, and even the same individual at different time of the, you know, he said, yes, this is okay. For some, probably that's what they need. Sometimes that we need a space, each one needs a space, you know, to be creative in their own way, at the same time, you know, being in alignment with the goal, you know, that we are pursuing. So yeah, that's to be decided by someone who knows that individual and by a person who is genuinely evaluation that individual. Otherwise it is really difficult to judge. Yes, sir.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much, Damodar Prabhu and Radha Gopinath Prabhu, for enlightening all of us. This is the second year of yours. Hope you're going to come year after year. My question is, you were speaking about the concept of Utsaha Chaitanya. Now, when every devotee start, in the initial Krishna consciousness, yes, it becomes a challenge, but later, when we progressing and practicing devotees, we come to a stage where one gets 16 rounds, then he will come 16 rounds. Then one may become further, initiates domination, maybe service, then he finds everybody. So, in the situation where one is practicing, in my feeling, one gets a sort of, comes to a stagnant like in an autopilot. The flight keeps flying, and once it goes, it becomes an autopilot. Devotion service also will become an autopilot. Now every day, 10 to 16 hours, 10 services, preaching also, so as every devotee. Now, when we are talking about the balancing, but the devotion should keep increasing. So how do you keep that balance in such a way that we also make progress internally, but at the same time come out of that autopilot conditioning mode?
Yeah, it's a very important thing. That there is a tendency that anything done repeatedly has a chance of becoming mechanical, kind of an autopilot mode, you know, can go. And therefore, the only solution for that, overcoming, or one of the most important solutions, is to keep hearing regularly, and reminding ourselves why we are doing what we are doing, and how we should be doing what we are doing. You know? I will share with you one example of this tree only. Okay? You take a small sapling, right? The small sapling has a little bit, 2 leaves and, you know, like that. Just come out of the ground. And how big is the root for that? Like a tail of a rat, you know, like this. Little bit underneath. Then it becomes a tree. But the root also goes deeper and broader. So, the nourishment required to take care of this small sapling was just this much root. But a huge tree, and what does a tree represent? That tree is visible now. From a distance you can see the tree. That means he's become a very senior devotee. Of course, if you hang around him, he's not to become a senior devotee by default. Because you're still around and around, he's a senior. But when they take big responsibilities, many people are taking shelter under that tree. Right? Finding shelter under that tree. Is giving food, is giving flowers, is giving shade. what if the tree falls? And therefore, as the tree grows up, the roots go deeper and broader. Similarly, earlier, somehow we were chanting, making 16 rounds, complete that song. Later, actually in those 16 rounds, we are trying to sambandha, our connection with Krishna. It's like a child crying for a mother, or it's a drowning man crying for a rope, actually taking shelter. More and more we hear how helpless we are. More and more we understand how powerful is Maya. Even a person like Brahma can get bewildered. Who are we? Who are we? And the nature of false ego, it's so deep. Until and unless we are really alert, and alert comes when we are genuinely taking shelter of the process of Krishna consciousness, it will never become mechanical. You realize, every day, just like you are driving, however mechanical it is, you know, one moment's, what is that? Nazar hati, durghatna ghati. Right? In the, what do you call it? Hilly regions, ghat sections, they write this. Always be careful, be careful. You cannot afford to be. However mechanical it is, you have to be alert because it's the same road. But any time the vehicle can come and sometimes it cannot be your fault. The other fellow comes in the wrong way. What can you do? You know, something happens, mechanical defect. What can you do? So knowing that this accident can happen at any time, to anyone, in any circumstance. And Maya really knows exactly. She will come from the least expected area. She will never come from an audit design. Oh, I can come from here, I am ready. She can come in the most unexpected form, in a most unexpected way that you practically least expect. So, knowing that, we need to take actually shelter. So, if you are thinking, it's not about what you do, but why and how. Why am I doing this? And how I should be doing this? If this we are aware, through reminding ourselves. That is why, I'll just conclude with this. Haridas Thakur, when he was captured by that Qazi's men and taken to the governor for judgment, there was a group of people in the prison. They all came to know that they are one big Mahatma, a great Mahabharata devotee, Haridas Thakur, is captured. So they wanted to see, because they knew that by seeing a devotee, you will get liberated. So they were desperately, eagerly, like a Chataka bird, they were watching from their prison house. And who were in the prison? Very pious people. So as Haridas was going, they were eagerly watching. Haridas looked at them and he said, "May you remain always in the position that you are now." They said, "Oh yeah, we thought that he will give blessing when we will be released from our prison house. But this fellow is blessing, may you remain the same way as you are right now." Then Haridas smiled and he said, No, you have misunderstood what I said. He said, right now, you people are feeling desperate. You feel helpless. And therefore, you are eagerly taking shelter of someone for liberation from that situation. May you remain in this consciousness. If this is what it takes to remain in that consciousness, may you remain in this consciousness. Because it's not about the external, it's about the consciousness. And as regards, you will be liberated in 3-4 days, don't worry, from the prison. But after getting out of prison, don't become complacent. Remain in the same position of helpless desperation, taking shelter of Krishna every moment. So if we are doing that, then it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like Dukhi, unassuming lady, she is doing some insignificant service. Mahaprabhu's attention was off. She said, may you become Sukhi.
Hare Krishna.
This question is to Damodar Prabhu. Whatever be the question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranam. And this question is really for Damodar Prabhu. Prabhuji, my question is about serving the Vaishnavas. So is it like that if we serve ex-Vaishnava, we get more benefit? Or if we serve Vaishnava, we get less benefit? Or whoever is really need the service, we should serve like, how do we understand that point?
Sorry, just please repeat the question once. Yeah, once again repeat the question.
So Prabhuji, my question is like, is it like that if we serve ex-Vaishnava, we get more benefit? Or if we serve Vaishnava, we get less benefit? Or whoever really needs the service and we serve, we get more benefits? So how do we understand that point? Like serving a sannyasi or serving a just normal neophyte devotee or anything like that. So how do we understand that aspect, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, so is it that someone is Krishna, X is lesser benefit, Y more benefit, Z more extra benefit? Well, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami says, Chota bada bhaktarana, mansa bala shitarana, sabi mura karha santosha. He says that one is a small devotee, like we say, a neo devotee, a very senior devotee, advanced devotee. But he says that one is a small devotee or a big devotee, I worship their feet, I want blessings of them all of them. So yes, as far as service is concerned, as far as attitude is concerned, we want to serve everyone. We want to encourage everyone, we want to serve, take blessings of everyone and not offend anyone. But also a Madhyam Adhikari has the discrimination. With how to serve different devotees will also differ, the way to serve. And we also have to discriminate who needs much service. Just like the devotees who have given their life to Prabhupada, if they need the service done much, we should prioritize them against the discrimination. One very senior devotee he shared to keep one devotee in Krishna consciousness who has come and given life is like making 10 new devotees. To retain one devotee in Krishna consciousness, to serve him in a way that the devotee can continue Krishna consciousness and not leave, is equivalent to making 10 new devotees, because that devotee has given a substantial part of one's life. So therefore, as far as attitude is concerned, I would say we want to serve everyone, we want to see blessings of everyone. But on a practical, in a practical sense, a practical ground, practical reality, there has to be some discrimination. Where is the service needed more? And therefore, using our intelligence, our discrimination, if we have the right attitude, then under proper guidance, with our maturity, and the Lord's mercy, we will be able to figure out the details of how we can best serve who needs the service, and so on and so forth. So the details have been worked out by Lord's inspiration, our own judgment, as well as guidance of senior Vaishnavas. Does that make sense? Okay.
Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction gives answer to the very interesting question. Actually, it's a very thought-provoking question. The idea of serving is a serving with a desire to please. To love means to serve. Love in Bhakti conception is not a noun but a verb. It's an active verb. To love means to serve with a desire to please. Now, Rupa Goswami says how to serve. Krishneti yasya tam manasadriyeta dikshasti che pranidhisya bhajantamisham shushushaya bhajana vigna ananya nindalishu hridadikshita sankalapa. So, to a newer devotee, what would serve him best in the way that Krishna is pleased? By sharing what you have. So very compassionately, not out of pride, but out of gratitude of good fortune, you share what you have with them. So they are benefited, you receive mercy. Those who are equal to you, rather than boasting, you develop friendship. And hear from them and share yours, just to please each other and please Krishna and also receive mercy. Because the authorities and the Guru and Krishna are pleased when we are lovingly befriending each other, cooperating and serving each other, rather than competing with each other. So equals we befriend. And those who are above us in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their advancement, we serve them by hearing from them and sincerely putting what we have heard to practice. Because when they see that their existence, these great personalities, their existence is meant for sharing what they have received. And when people take it up, they feel their life is useful. That's why they are kind of traveling, all around. You see all these great disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Amazing. What is the energy that inspires them to move and give? Because what they have received from Prabhupada. And really what will please them is what they are giving their life to share, we accept. So, one level of service is physically doing something, but really, when we accept what they are doing and sincerely apply it in our lives, that pleases them and profuse blessings and mercy flows. So, depending upon up, equal or down, mercy has only one direction, it just flows. It just flows into our heart. So, that's it. Doesn't matter how. Our attitude should be how I can serve in a way Krishna is pleased and I receive mercy. And that person also is very good. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I'm pretty sure we can go for some more time, but because of this time and everything, we have to end here. But there's a good news. Radha Gopinath Prabhu is giving Srimad Bhagavatam class tomorrow morning in the temple, and Damodar Prabhu will be giving on Sunday. So you can take more advantage from hearing them, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So for now, I think Prasadam is served outside. I think we should appreciate both of them, their time and valuable wisdom and jewels of knowledge. We're chanting Hare Bol, I think. Jai Radha Gopinath Prabhu ki Jai, Damodar Prabhu ki Jai, Bhakta Gopinath Prabhu ki Jai.